A house built from shadows and sea. My name is Elowen. I have lived with arthritis since I was born, a silent, relentless companion that steals your freedom, step by step, making every movement a test of endurance. Each step feels like fire in my joints, a sharp ache in my bones, and sometimes even in my eyes, as if the world itself is too heavy to look at. People have always considered me strange. I spoke little, smiled rarely, and even the simplest greeting could trigger anger. A neighbor, a stray dog, a misplaced word. Any small act could earn me a cruel slap, the reminder that the world saw me as an outsider. After my parents died, I had no choice but to move in with my aunt, a woman who treated me like a shadow she could barely tolerate. Their home was filled with whispered judgments and cold glances, a burden, useless, a drain on life. Sometimes I wondered if they were right. Yet even in that darkness, I held a fragile hope that one day someone might change my life. It was a crisp winter morning when I walked to the marketplace. The frost nipped at my cheeks and I pressed my scarf to my lips, seeking warmth. Amid the chatter and the scent of the sea, a man's voice cut through the noise, commanding and rough. Seeking a housekeeper, room provided, pay is modest, must be honest and reliable. He was tall and broad-shouldered, with skin bronzed by sun and wind, and eyes sharp like storm clouds. People laughed, shook their heads, and walked away. Few dared to work for a man known as Rylan, the fisherman with a stubborn, irritable temper. I tore the advertisement from the post with trembling fingers. Limping painfully, I made my way through snowy streets for miles to reach him. Every step burned, but the fear of returning to my aunt's house burned hotter. I found Rylan near his weathered boat, the wind tugging at his coat. He regarded me with a sharp, almost suspicious gaze. "You?" he said, voice rough. "You want to work in that condition?" I tried to smile, but my lips trembled. I can do it. Please, give me a chance." He waved me off as if my plea were a nuisance. "No, go home." I almost did. I almost accepted that fate had no place for someone like me. Then, unexpectedly, he added, "I'll walk with you part of the way." We walked in silence, the snow crunching under my slow, uneven steps. He stayed slightly aside, almost protective, though I didn't understand why. At one point, I caught him glancing back, not once, but repeatedly, like some quiet curiosity had crept into his heart. And then he left. I thought it was over. Days passed. No one else answered his advertisement. Rylan, orphaned from childhood, untrusting, used to the world's cruelty, realized he had no choice. He came to me himself, knocked on my aunt's door. When I saw him standing there, tall and unyielding, I thought I must be dreaming. "All right," he grunted. "I'll give you a chance. One." I froze, heart hammering. My aunt shouted, furious, "You're not going anywhere. He won't keep you for long." But I was already packing. This was my one chance at freedom, at a life that could be mine. I wouldn't let it slip away. Rylan's house sat at the edge of the village, small, wooden, smelling of salt and smoke. Everything about it felt strange and new. The quiet, the order, the absence of shouting. I feared even the sound of my own breathing. For weeks, Rylan barely spoke, only short commands. "Put it there. Clean this. Careful. Rest." He left at dawn for fishing and returned late at night. And I learned to live differently, without reproach, without cruelty, without fear. Then one day, as I brought him tea, my hand shook. The cup slipped, shattered on the floor. I sank to my knees. "I'm so sorry. I'll clean it up, please." He inhaled sharply, like the sight of me in pain hurt him. "Who hurt you?" he asked softly. I froze. His voice was different, gentle, human, real. He knelt, helping me gather the shards. For the first time, someone did not punish me for a mistake. That evening, he sat quietly on the porch, staring at the dark sea. That was the night everything began to change. We started talking more, then even more, and soon, it felt as if we had known each other our whole lives. He taught me to clean fish, though I ruined half the catch. I taught him to cook, though he oversalted the soup until he laughed through tears. Sometimes he would make me sit when he saw my limp worsen. "Sit," I said. "But Sit, Elowen. You've suffered enough, now it's enough. I sat, not from fear, but from the warmth of being cared for. Then one day a storm came. A wild, black, roaring storm. Rylan was at sea. I stood on the shore, clutching my hands, whispering, "Come back, please." The wind shrieked, waves tore at the boats, the sky cracked with thunder. And somewhere in that chaos, he was out there, the only person who had ever believed in me. By morning, his overturned boat was found. My heart felt frozen. I thought I had lost everything I loved. But fate can be merciless and miraculous at once. They found him, soaked, barely breathing, frozen, but alive. When he opened his eyes and saw me by his side, he smiled. His crooked, stubborn smile. "Were you crying?" "No," I whispered. "It was the rain." "At the house?" "Well, sometimes." He laughed quietly, and that laugh warmed me more than any words ever could. After the storm, we were no longer employer and worker. We became a family, two broken souls stitched together by fate. He softened. I grew braver. He taught me not to fear my steps. I taught him to trust. A year later, Rylan said, "Elowen, stay. Not as a worker, as mine." His voice trembled, as if afraid I would refuse. I already knew the answer. "I am already yours." We married quietly. No guests, no music, just the wind, the waves, and our hearts. For the first time, I felt neither weak nor strange, but deeply loved. Then a miracle. I felt life stir inside me. Our child. I wept in the doctor's office. Rylan held my hand, whispering, "You are stronger than you think. We will endure." And we did. When our daughter was born, warm, small, rosy, Rylan cried. He, who had lost everything as a child, saw in her the beginning of a family he had always longed for. We named her Lyra, Song of the Sea. Now, as I sit on the porch, watching Rylan play with Lyra on the shore, I realize life can change with a single limping step taken despite the pain. My life has never been easy, but it led me to a home filled with love, to a man who sees me, not my flaws, and to a family I never dared to dream of. And sometimes, as the sun dips below the horizon, I whisper, "Thank you for letting me take that first limping step, because that step began my new life."